So I had this client who is actually a middle manager in an IT company. So I know from him from previous conversations that he was trying his best to, to actually become better for this company. He wanted to get the trainings, to learn, he wanted to be coached and all of that. But every time when this he bring this up to them, they kind of find a way to deny this, they find a way to reject that, right? So he knew that he was doing his best to actually grow, to become better for them, but that he was not really satisfied with their response to that. Then after a week, he came to me and said, like, man, I don't know exactly what to do, because I have this manager of mine, right, who is actually telling me, hey, you should actually put more work, it's going to get tougher from now, there is going to be no salary increase. So he would actually make him feel absolutely terrible about his efforts, but at the same time he would not give anything in advance. He would not try to coach, to help him to grow in any way, and also would tell him right up front that, hey, you know what, increasing the salary is out of the conversation, right? So he come to me and is like, man, what am I doing in here? Because I started with this company being very motivated. I wanted to be here. I wanted to invest. I wanted to give my all to actually stay with this company. But right now I'm kind of like, I'm having like a change of heart. I don't know exactly what to do, because, it gets tougher and tougher every day. And then second, he shared with me, it's like, man, this guy is not even that great as a manager. He should actually support me. He should try to actually help me to become the best that I can, but he made me actually feel terrible. And I got to a place after being 100% committed to stay with them and invest and give my all. Now I really honestly am considering actually switching to another company. First, please realize that you might actually be a better manager than your manager, and he will not see that. Even if you are actually doing better as a manager, because of the difference in hierarchy, he will not see it. He's just blind. This is outside of his vision. You might see it. Usually this happens. When you look upwards or you look up, you can see, hey, wait a second, I'm better than that guy. But when he looks down, he is somehow framed to believe that because of my position, I must be better. So therefore, I'm not questioning this. In corporate in general, people go up. That's how it's called climbing the ladder. Like things flow in a one direction, from down to up. So that's why from down to up, from your position, looking up, you can see, hey, wait a second, I might actually be better as a manager than him. Now, guess what? He's also focusing up. I am higher on the ladder, so I must be right. So therefore, any conflict that you guys have, he will think like, well, I'm your manager, I'm definitely right. Like, obviously, first is acknowledging that, hey, you know what, I'm falling out of love with this. And for good reasons. Because you are spot on. Falling out of love for good reasons should be an act of awareness. Should be an act of, presence. And, realizing, oh, shit, yeah, this is not the place for me, right? And let's say in relationships, because this is a relationship, right? People transition from, we are so much 100% in love, and then some things happen along the way, and sometimes they transition over the course of years or decades, they transition to, complete enemies. How do you get from that to that? Well, it's transition. Most of the times, they transition without really realizing what's going on, without really realizing a transition is happening. Now, why this is important for you is to understand, hey, I'm transitioning from, I'm totally in love with this, I want to, invest in this company and, be here, to, oh shit, not really. You realize that things are moving in a certain direction. It's just a matter of time or events to happen until you get there. To feel like, oh shit, no, I'm quitting. Like, it's just a matter of time. That's it.
Everything you say, like, no, that's really good, man, because, it's hard to get an outside perspective because, it's hard because, I know you would tell me things that are reality. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
use your time here. Because you're not using them, you're using your time.
to get in a better position. And I wanted to give you like a strategy. So what does this mean? It means have very, 100% clarity with yourself. Yes, I can see what's going on. I can see what's happening. But don't let that to be something that you show. In this case, make a very abrupt disparity, difference, like a gap between how you feel inside about this and what you show on the outside. Exactly.
So that's, I think, my strategy.
In my view, high intelligence means so you understand reality for a very accurate view, and then you understand also all its implications, and then you act accordingly based on your best interest. That means, exactly as you are saying, that means you are understanding, hey, this guy is not going to get it. He's not going to change. Things are not going to improve. So if I want to apply my strategy, they have to have zero clue. I wanted to speak a bit about this idea to how important it is to trust your ability, because this is what's going on. To trust your ability when other people don't give you positive or reinforcing feedback, because that's what's going on. Even if he knows that for himself, maybe he cannot really approve it because you don't know, maybe there are always hidden agendas. Like, okay, the most obvious, if I'm going to acknowledge his skill, he's going to want more money. It's like, and sometimes people do that very stupid, is to have the ability to trust your skill when nobody is actually acknowledging. And I wanted to make a case that this is very different. For example, you upload a video, right, on YouTube, and people give you feedback. Most of the times that's going to be honest feedback. People are going to tell you, hey, we like it, we don't like it, right? Because there is no hidden agenda. It's just like you take it, or you're being taken at face value because there is no hidden agenda. But in an environment like this, there are always hidden agendas, money being one of them, right? So you have to understand the game is different. You act in an environment where feedback doesn't really come, or wait, honest feedback, honest, unfiltered feedback doesn't come, right? So what is really a great skill in here is to understand first what is the game happening. People are not going to be honest with you, because if they would be honest with you, they would have to pay you more. But in the same time, you have to kind of like decouple, like separate their feedback from how you feel internally. If you let other people to tell you how good you are, when money is tied to their honest feedback, you are going to be very disappointed in yourself.